Hello everyone, this is Mr. Work Smarter and welcome to another episode of Work Smarter Talks. Today I have an amazing guest, Gina. Thank you for coming today. She's also known as Just Geen, her brand. She's a fitness, what do you say? I like to call yourself a fitness guru because you've been doing this for a very long time.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't claim the title of a guru. I'd just say personal trainer.
Okay, personal trainer, but she's also a food blogger.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think you're a serial entrepreneur because you do different things. Would you like that? Is that a better title for you?
Thanks. I like that. I like that one. Yeah.
But she also has a podcast called No Carbs After 7, which is very interesting because I eat carbs after 7 all the time.
So do I, to be honest.
But you know what? I think also you're a public figure on the social media world. Everyone knows you. I know you might not claim that because you're a very humble lady, but listen, everyone knows you. Like, you're just one of them people when you see, oh yeah, that's just Gina. Do you know what I mean? You've just got that appeal online and everything. But thank you for coming today.
No problem.
I really want to tackle, like, I know you've made a jump. You've actually quit work.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And I was really impressed when I heard that. And it was just to share. So could you firstly talk me through how you was managing a number of businesses whilst working?
I didn't sleep. I'm going to be so honest with you. It's weird because it's like I didn't. At the time, it doesn't feel like I'm doing a lot. But when everyone else around you is like, "How'd you do it? How'd you do it?" Sometimes you think, "Huh? How do I do it?" But generally, the way it worked was I'd wake up, I'd have like a 7 a.m. client, so wake up at like 5:30, get to the gym for 7, train my client, then get to work for 9. And then work a 9 to 5, leave work, and then I'd have clients in the evening back to back, go back to the gym. And then my gym day usually finish about 8 o'clock. And if I really wanted to, if I didn't train with my clients, then I'd go gym myself and then train. So generally I wasn't getting home till about 10, 11 o'clock. And that was like consistently for like about a year and a half.
And how did you manage the obviously the food prep business as well?
And then that was on weekends. So like I'd start from Saturday. So I felt like I worked literally 7 days a week. Like for me, it was like I never really looked forward to weekends because it wasn't like I was gonna have a lie-in. I don't think there's been a day where I haven't had to wake up like before 7 a.m.
Wow, honestly, that is amazing. And I heard that you prep your food for the likes of Stormzy and a few other grime artists.
Yeah, I have.
That is amazing. Honestly,
Yeah.
I commend you for that. One thing I did notice on your Twitter, you wrote, what's it called? You had a hashtag called Feel it and do it anyway. Honestly, I love that, by the way. And what does that mean to you when you wrote that? Because that was very interesting.
Do you know what? I read a book. Yeah. There's actually a book called Feel it and do it anyway. And it was just about like stepping out your comfort zone and not allowing fear to like prevent you from doing something. And I guess I was getting to a point in life where I felt like there's loads of things that I want to do. I've got so many ideas, so many plans, and like I can talk the talk all day. Like I've got so much to say, but then when it comes to actually putting it into motion, I'm like, oh, but I'm scared. Oh, but I'm scared. And it was always a case of like, but what are you scared of? Like, what's the worst that can happen? So in regards to quitting my job, I battled with that for about 2 years because when I first the job I was at before, in my head when I left that job. Some people were like, oh, are you quitting to do what you're doing full time? And I was like, no. And they were like, wait, how come? And I was just like, oh no, like I'm scared. And I just felt like I wasn't ready. So then I started working and in my head I said, okay, cool, I'm going to work at this job and I'm only going to be here for a year. So after a year I'm going to quit. But then as time went on, I was like, okay, Gina, this plan it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. And then life happens, I guess. So that year turned into like almost 3. And then towards the end of last year, it just got to a point where I didn't hate my job. Yeah. I really enjoyed what I did. I was a probation officer. And I just thought, you know what, although I enjoy what I'm doing, I know in my heart of hearts, this isn't what I want to do. Like 90% of the time when I'm at work, I'm doing stuff to do with my brand. Yeah. And it was getting to a point where I couldn't kind of fake it anymore. And like my workload at work was increasing. So it was like, you know how before you can kind of get away with Skype and doing work and do what you're doing. But it was getting on top. And I thought, you know what, my mind isn't like, I'm not in it for the right reasons. I don't generally want to be here. I've never really been a person to kind of chase. I'm money hungry, obviously, but like I'm not like, I don't think money's like the end all of anything. Like it doesn't. It's like it's money, but for me, I'm more about being happy and being like in a good space. And mentally, I wasn't in a good space. I'd wake up in the morning and dread going to work. And I feel like if that's your life, then you can only put that on for so long. So it just got to a point where I said, you know what, I want to quit. I know I want to quit, and there's no reason why I can't.
Yeah.
Like, what is the worst that can happen?
But I want to touch on a key point, because you said it for quite a while. I'm gonna quit.
Yeah.
But what was the difference that made you say, now I'm gonna do it? What did you save a certain amount of money to get a vision from God, or?
So like, to be fair, there's a factor. So okay, in my head, I said to myself, I'm gonna quit, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna set myself a financial target. Once I hit that target, I can quit. I hit that target, and then more excuses came, as you do. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, cool. Money's not an issue, but then like I moved house, and like life happened basically. So there kept being reasons as to why I couldn't do it, and I kept seeing it as a sign from God saying, you're not ready, because I was praying about it anyway. And I was like, God, I want to quit, and I want to feel ready to quit, and I want to be given a sign. So I kept seeing all these obstacles as him saying, okay, you know what, you're not ready to quit, so just be patient. So I just chilled, and then it got to a point where the last hurdle that I'd said, in my head I thought, okay, cool, this is going to delay me by another 6 months. Yeah. Strangely enough, that 6 months turned into like 2. So then I was like, oh my gosh, I've run out of excuses now. And then when that hurdle passed, in my head I thought, and this was before the end of the year, my aim was to quit at the beginning of the year. So then I thought, it's like, before that happened, I said, okay, cool, I'm not really going to be able to quit until next year summer. So that was the thing. So then when everything cleared, it was like early December, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually quit now. But I was like, no, but let me just, in my head, obviously I've said 6 months, so let me just continue with the 6 months thing. And then it was so weird. One of my clients, she called me randomly in the morning. She was just like, I was praying, I had like a strange vision, and you were in it. And I was like, okay. And she was just like, basically in my vision, it was like you wanted to, she goes, I don't know what it is, but it was like a metaphor. She was like, like you wanted to, she used an example of like one of the things we do in training, like with like resistance bands. And she was like, it's like you wanted to do something, but something was holding you back and resisting you from doing it. And it was like, I saw that as fear. So I'm just basically, I don't know what your plans are, I don't know how this relates to you, but if there's anything that you're battling with that you want to do, like just jump, just do it kind of thing. And then I was just like, do you know what, that is it, that's it. Like I can't, anything else. I literally can't ask for any more signs. Like I just need to do it. And then I got, and obviously my mum's Ghanaian, so like imagine telling a Ghanaian parent like,
I remember that day,
I'm quitting my job to work on my brand.
And what does that mean? They'll be like, what does that mean?
Exactly. So as much as my mum's supportive and she understands and she's seen my vision, and she's been very supportive along the way, I knew she wasn't, and we just moved house. So I knew she wasn't going to be like overjoyed. She was just like, like, I was like, but then this is what I did, I was like, Mum, I prayed on it and I got a vision from God. So I was like, so you know what, I thought she can't, literally, like, I was like, literally, you can't override God, to be fair. If I kind of push that to you, you're going to be like, okay. She was like, do you know what, to be fair, like, you're old enough, you're mature, and I trust you. And if you feel like you're ready to do it, then like by all means, like go ahead. So then my manager was on holiday, so literally the day he got back, I just went into his office and I was like, Jerome, I'm out. And he was like, do you know what, I knew this was coming, because he, like, a lot of my colleagues follow me on social media, so they were like, so they're like, some of them were like, I'm even surprised you're still here. So I was like, I'm leaving, and he was like, do you know what, I expected this was gonna like happen, so all I can do is support you. And then I just worked my notice, and that was it.
Honestly, I commend you for that. And as you said, you have to step into the unknown to grow. So
literally,
fantastic.
Like, and I saw it as, do you know what, I've managed to grow my brand to this point whilst holding down a full-time job.
So now,
exactly. So I just kept saying, imagine what I'd be able to do if I didn't have this job.
100% commitment now.
So exactly, and that was like the kind of motivating factor, and it was exciting. And I'm still excited, obviously, it's still the beginning, but like I'm so excited to see what's actually gonna like happen. Okay. Because I don't know. But at the same time, that's what's exciting me, if that makes sense.
100%. So, and how do you prioritise? As you say, you're not working on one thing, so how do you kind of prioritise what you're working on?
I'm not gonna lie, it is hard. And like when I quit, it was like, okay, people are like, okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna focus on food, you're gonna focus on fitness. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't actually know, because, and they're like, if you could pick one, what would you do? And it's like, I enjoy both.
I was about to ask you that question.
Literally enjoy both, so it's hard. So for now, it's I guess fitness has been more of something I prioritise because it's easier, I guess, and there's less output from me to do it, if that makes sense. So fitness has been like the main focal point at the moment, and obviously I still meal prep and stuff, and that's always been on the weekend. But for now, I'm focusing on fitness to kind of see where I can get that side of things, and then when that's grown and that's in a good space, then do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I can't do the two. It's impossible. I'm a one-man band. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to be able to like carry both food and fitness and like put it at the forefront, if that makes sense.
Cool. So my next question for you is, what has been your craziest 24 hours?
Does it have to be like related to like?
No,
it could be anything.
Anything. It doesn't have to be business related.
Okay, do you know what? When I was in uni, this story is really stupid, by the way. No, but when I was in uni, I'm the kind of person who like I'd forget my head if it wasn't on.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
What do you
like, you know, like because my head's attached to me, like it's here, but I could literally forget my head and just walk out the door. So like when I was in uni, I went uni in Manchester.
Yeah.
I lived in London, and obviously I live in London. And I came home, I think Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And I had to go back to work on the 27th. So I left London on Boxing Day.
Okay.
Got a train to Manchester and left my Manchester house keys in London. And obviously the estate agents were closed and my housemates were in London. So I'm outside my door and I'm like, literally I got to my door and I was like, oh, my keys aren't here. So then luckily I had a friend who lived in Manchester, like a local.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stranded, blah, 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 can I come to your house? He's like, yeah, it's fine, come and crash for the night and then go back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So literally went there for the night and then booked the earliest coach back to London, which was 5 hours. Went all the way back to London, like my mum, she didn't even let me come to the door because she was so annoyed with me, so she met me at the station, gave me the key and was like, go.
Oh, yeah.
So then got back to the station, got a coach, and then
I'm already dreading this story.
got on the coach, and again it's a 5 hour journey, and I'm doing coaches because it's cheaper. It's cheaper, but even getting the coach, it's like £30 because it's last minute. To get on the coach, and I fall asleep on the coach. So the first stop is Manchester. So I wake up and then I realise the guy that was sitting next to me isn't the same guy anymore. So clearly I've missed my stop. So I get up and I'm just panicking. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then I notice we're about to literally drive onto like a motorway. So I run to the driver and I'm like, oh, can I just quickly get off the coach? Yeah. He goes, oh, you're not allowed. You're gonna have to get off at the next stop. I was like, where's the next stop? Guess where he said, please?
Let me hear this, go.
Glasgow. So I literally, I was like, are you joking? He's like, no, I'm legally not allowed to stop this coach. You have to get off at the next stop. If you saw the tears that came from my eyes.
I feel like I just collapsed.
I was like, are you joking? He said, no. So I just literally went and sat back at my seat. I put my coat over my head and I fell asleep. And I set an alarm this time. And then we got to Glasgow, like from Manchester to Glasgow, I think it was 8 hours. So I was on that coach for about 13 hours. It was horrible.
Honestly, thanks for sharing that story.
Like that, I think that was the worst 24 hours of my life.
Honestly, I don't know what I would have done.
But looking back, at the time, I think when I got back to Manchester eventually, because when I got to Glasgow, the next coach wasn't for 7 hours, so I had to sit in the coach station, and then it was a Sunday, so everything was shut. But I went to the cinema by myself, and it was fun.
What did you watch? Do you remember?
Is it Yes Man? It was years ago, the Jim Carrey film. And then, when I got back and I actually sat down in my house, I was like, you know what? Yeah. That was fun. But at the time, it was. But at the time, it was crazy. I didn't tell my mum because she would have killed me. So I purposely didn't tell her. And then I told her like months after, so she just looked at me with such disgust. But yeah, that's been the craziest 24 hours.
Thanks for sharing that. That was actually really insightful.
Thank you.
And my last question is, if you was to take yourself back to the age of 21, what advice would you give to yourself?
I'm not that old. No, I'm not
trying to put out.
You could have. I could have said you're 16.
I know.
Not that long ago.
But she's really young, by the way.
I'm not. But anyway, what would I say to myself?
Yeah, what would you say, like the experience that you've had and what you've been through? What would you say to your 21-year-old self? Someone that, if you were 21, what would you say to yourself?
Do you know, when I was 21, I came out of uni and I was lost. And I called myself a floater. So I kind of like just literally went wherever the wind took me. So even from jobs, I just kind of didn't have no sense of direction. So I'd say to myself, it's going to be okay. Oh. Like, it's fine, you've got this. That's what I'd say. I
think that's a great way to end this episode. Thank you, Gina, for turning up.
No problem.
I know you.
Even though it took me ages to get here.
Let's not talk about that. But I really appreciate it. And I'm going to put all her details about what she does, and you can reach out to her whenever you want. She's a lovely person, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Thank you.
Remember to work smarter.